we wanted you to prosper. That is the message I was meant to give to you today because it is you. That's why you're alive. You're human and you're alive on the earth now. You're supposed to prosper. But it was also for our entire world. That was the message that Wilhelm wanted me to give you today. And I will read it to you first so that you'll understand it because you may have been a little confused about what was happening for you or what might have been occurring in our world. And this will help you. And especially today because there's another energetic shift that's happening in our world, and so you might feel a little more emotions coming to the surface or witnessing it in the world, and so you will start to understand how powerful you are today because I'm going to read these things to you that will have it make sense, and then I'll explain a little bit more too, because there's only one thing that would hold you back from prospering, and that would be fear. Fear of who you are, fear of who you can become. And but it's not a bad thing. And if you look at it today and start to work with it, it could be the greatest thing for you ever in your life, and you will understand that soon. November 25th, 2022, we wanted you to prosper. That statement would encapsulate the information we have given you the last several years. But the message we provided on this date in 2012 might do the trick. You exist at a time in your world when your essence would be essential in forming the new world you each desire. But the only difficulty you have experienced is believing in and trusting the gift you were given. But now would be the best time for you to do so. Your world has experienced more galactic shifts recently, and there will be more. But what is needed now is a rebalancing of the energy of your world to one that is more loving. That can only happen when you decide to love yourself and allow the energy of prosperity to permeate every area of your life. It is a natural part of ascension to doubt yourself. But eventually, you must come to believe in the magnificent that exists within you. And that is why we gave you our work. You needed guidance and instructions to operate in a new way as you were all moving to a new dimension. You could not have known who you could become, which is the point of your evolution. Roger had to accept we had given him everything that had helped him, but didn't know it was meant for the world. But you all were meant to share your gifts with the world, and you plan to do it now. November 25th, 2012. You are entitled to what you desire. The words entitled and entitlement have caused you difficulty because your society has often cast a negative connotation on those words. In actuality, you and all others are born entitled by your birthright. You go through your physical life experience attempting to actualize that state, for in doing so, you must cause your expansion. Allowing that negative idea to permeate your being will prevent your desires from being fulfilled. Most times, this is an unconscious act on your part, but now with this information, you can make it a conscious decision. You never deprive another by allowing yourself to receive. November 25th, 2018. Today's message will be quite different as we ask Roger to deliver his experience and what he is hearing through us that it might help all of you. Roger is in the process of writing a book which he entitled Overcoming Fear, A Guide to Freedom. In that process, he is continually encountering his own carried and sometimes buried fear, as he knew the only manner this book delivered through us, by the way, would only be meaningful through his personal experiences. In this process, he uncovered a message we had given him years ago that offered him validation of his current endeavor. and yet he still attempted to ignore it, as you will do, which limits the access you might otherwise have to a wealth of information that would allow you to live your lives to be more of what you desire. We are now going to give you a quote for his book, and you all may have it now. You all will live the life of your dreams when you come to understand that your experience of fear can be helpful when you know it is there to motivate you to move through it, so you experience the magnificence that is you. Wilhelm. And what that means is is exactly what we all do, because, see, I couldn't have told you that I had received all of this information all of these years, that it was meant to really help change our world, and I wasn't accepting it. And this is why we don't prosper, because we can't believe what we can do, even when we've accomplished it. So, but this is a time in our world that I understand completely now, that we are moving through an evolutionary change, in the way that that becomes greater, and the way that we end up having the lives we want in the world is when you decide to love yourself. And that is moving through every limitation that has existed in your lineage, in your consciousness. And that's not just what you have done now, it's what all of your ancestors have done or could not do, whatever it is for you. You see, because we live at certain times and we develop more, and we take things from the others that we are meant to develop now. But what I was given is this thing called your life operating instructions. And when I asked why, it was because our world was not moving in the correct place, a place that would sustain us all, because not enough of us knew how powerful we were and how much we had developed. That's why the message today on anyadvicefortoday.com, you have accomplished so much. See, that accomplishment exists in your soul, what you have done in the different realms, but it's always consciousness. You can only experience yourself in how you perceive the world through your consciousness, and that has been formed. And for all of us, it's been limited. This is why we still carry around things that don't serve humankind, like racism and misogyny and hatred and anger. But then what you discover is the best way for you to move through your ascension process is decide to let go of all those things, because they weigh you down and they keep you ill. They keep you angry. They keep you sick in every single way. And I can say this because this is what I had to live. And the only way I could bring this information to the world is that I had to live it and also show the result. The result is you come out loving yourself. And just imagine if more people did that. And this is not something that I'm making up here because I've written it all down over years. There's a science to how we evolve, and we only accept it a certain time in our civilization, or how willing we become. When I spoke about Carl Jung, and I've talked about that so much because Carl Jung discovered the synchronicity, where we start to see, wait a minute, things are happening, and I'm understanding things. I'm seeing something that I don't quite understand, and I'm going to call it a coincidence. It's not. You are connected to Source, to God, to the universe, to whatever it is, and it shows up at the right time. And in 2012, when I was given the bulk of this information and I was told I had a message for your birthday, I did, because you came to create something. I didn't know that I was creating this organization of information that could help humankind, but that's what I did. But the thing that held me back was also believing it and then trying to convince others of that. You can't do that either. You came to do something, and it's probably going to be very different than anybody else around you, meaning that you meant to become unique, this individual, and when you do that, you will prosper. But it's that step of self-acceptance, and the only difficulty any of us will experience in our lives is self-acceptance, because you were born to do something meaningful and to create something and to leave a legacy in the world by what your life has created. And I know that is true, and I know it's true because I feared it. Because when I discovered that I had been given this information and then I could answer anyone's question, I became afraid, because I said, how can I handle all of these people? Well, I'm not going to do that anymore, because I also saw that most people won't do it because you won't believe. See, that's what I've done for the last several years. I said, oh, let me just get a lot of people who are going to do this and they're going to really love themselves and they're going to prosper and they're going to really create these great lives, and you won't do it because your brain has told you that you can't do it, and that's not your fault because you were programmed that way. Now that I've said those words, I'm going to show you something else that will seal the deal on this so you will understand how important you are, and so that I will get on with creating what I'm supposed to do just as you are meant to do. But the reason that you haven't done it yet is because you were programmed to believe you couldn't. That's all that ever happens for any of us. Doesn't matter where you are, what you're going to accomplish. Now, when we're talking about prospering, we will think of that in terms of money, physical things, material things, and all of that. But guess what? That doesn't mean anything. You don't take that with you, as they always say. And so it's your soul that's really wanting to know that you have prospered, because you do that when you feel fulfilled, when you are at peace. And just imagine what would happen if more people did that. There is synchronicity. There's an organization in the universe as well, which is, I also discovered, and I want you to start to believe that so you could believe in yourself a little bit more. When I received information, they used dates. I'm going to document so much of this because I'm still coming to accept it. But I can go back and find information on particular dates that will give you a greater awareness of who you have become now. That's talking about consciousness, our collective consciousness, and it forms over time. We don't always know that we're doing that, but this message from another year on the 25th will help you to understand you have one goal in your life, and that was to accept yourself and come to love who you are and why you were born. That is every single person. So this one will be the one that will kind of pull it together for you. But also I want to say I put up several other videos on my YouTube channel, so I'd love for you to subscribe there, and also listen to the channeling session. I put up several things in the last couple of days because I knew it would be valuable for you today. But this one will kind of seal the deal, so to speak, and you will be off on to this great new life and starting to prosper and loving yourself, because that's why you were born. November 25th, 2015. You only ever have one goal throughout your entire physical life experience or lifetime, and that is being the best you. You only ever experience any difficulty in your life when you have momentarily forgotten this. Subjective words are being used so you will understand the meaning. You may argue that other things happen to you or other people will do certain things to you that cause you to forget your goal. But that is merely a distraction you have allowed yourself to use that prevents you from, in this moment of now, deciding to be the best you. You cannot condemn another and expect to experience feeling like your best you. Everything you do in your life is either helping you achieve your original goal or is leading you away from it. You always know which by how you feel, although at times you may attempt to hide from that fact. Wilhelm. And so I know that is true because I've done this for so long, and the result is you heal. But also owning it and telling you was challenging, so you have done the same thing. That is what we always do in human experience, but we will come in to do something different and unique, and mine was completely different and unique because I didn't know I was doing it just like you. But we each help one another, because when I can give you all of this information, you're going to do it to others, and then we evolve. We have to recognize we don't live forever. We're meant to leave something which will be your legacy, and that will be the one that you can say, I loved myself and I accomplished something wonderful. Everyone has the ability to do that. Love yourself today. Thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel and share this information with others. Okay, see you soon.